No, so since we've got Nilesh in the mood now, so there is another controversial topic that I'm going to ask Nilesh and Nimesh, which is about SEBI's very, very clearly articulated desire on product rationalization. And it's instructive to note that that the SEBI chairman in his very first address to our industry flagged product rationalization as one of his biggest priorities or messages to the industry saying, guys, please get this right and cut it. So, of course, in all debates, there are two views. So there's one view which says that simplicity begets scale, and simplicity is what you owe to your customer. And therefore, let's go ahead with the letter, spirit, and beyond of product rationalization. Get a simple, small set of basket of products clearly understood, put it out in the market. There's the other aspect, which is why should I limit choice among my funds if I have what I consider as three distinctive MIPs or three distinctive large cap funds or three distinctive whatever. Why should somebody come and say, no, thou shalt have only one because I said so, right? If my investor is saying, I like it, if my distributor is willing to sell, if I'm willing to manage it, then why should somebody come with a danda and say, nahi, but I'm telling you anyway, bas ek hi hona hai. So there are views on that. Questions are from, for both of you, from an investor point of view, what makes sense? And what are implications of product rationalization if taken to the logical conclusion as SEBI envisages it? So can we look at maybe Nimish first and then Nilesh?
See, this is a thing going on since last 1.5 years. So if you wake me up from sleep also, we have stood by that. See, every person in this panel has got a different product requirement, right? We all are at different stages of this one. So when you are managing scale, so I'll come from scale and Nilesh will come from a very different perspective, and I understand the perspective that he comes from also. I believe that when you are managing such a big scale, please sit with us, and I have told this SEBI many times, that please sit with us and understand that the space that we are in, nobody has been there ever before, right? So with the big guys, why don't you sit and understand the challenges that we have and how are we managing the challenges, rather than giving me a rule first and saying you fit into that rule, and you only have given me those approvals. So we have those approvals in place and we are going by that. Mandate of the scheme is ABC. I have stood by the mandate. The mandate was given by this one. So I am a firm believer that, and there are different ways of running funds. There is not one way. 1 lakh crore of equity AUM, X mutual fund can run in a certain way, and Y mutual fund can run in a certain way. And both can be right. It is not necessary that only one model is right. So please understand our business model also. So if as a businessman, if I had the choice 10 years back, I would have said I want only 4 products, and those 4 products I'll create into brands, and those brands I'll make it big. That's the easy way to do business. Scale, scale, scale aata hai usse. But this industry, you can create scale only if you give fund performance, right? So in that process, we have been saying it is in the customer's interest that let me spread my eggs in various baskets, right? That has been always our stand. And otherwise, why would I have gone for so many products, right? So we have those products, and we believe that each of the products can get scale. So we are sticking by what we have said. We have given SEBI what we have the products, and we are going to stick by that. This is going on since last 2 years, and I have not lost hope. I am on to it.
Great.
Right, and I will add on once Nilesh comes in. And this is a very important topic for all of us. The products, each of the products we have cultivated over the years. Now we are not going to, and we have given a mandate to the customer. The customer has given money. I've got 6,000 crores on it. After the customer said he needs the product, now why are you saying that you don't need the product? That's my proposition.
Absolutely. Nilesh, yes.
So one, I have a vested interest, and then I'll talk about investor interest. My vested interest is that Constitution of India should be followed in India. It should not be discarded. Constitution of India has abolished caste system. But in mutual fund, there are Brahmins, there are Kshatriyas, there are Vaishyas, and there are Shudras. The Brahmin mutual fund have been told that you could have 2 balanced funds. And one could be large cap, one could be mid cap. One could be up to 90% in equity, one could be up to 95% in equity. The Kshatriya Balance Fund have been told that you could put 80% in equity. The poor Vaishya has been told that you will only have one balance fund because you are born Vaishya. And you could have only up to 70% in equity. And the poor Shudra has been told that tera balance fund to 50-50 rahega. Now, am I living in a country which is independent democracy? Is the regulator supposed to create a caste society in India? Is the regulator supposed to go and protect the large mutual fund by giving him 2 balance fund approval? Is the fund manager supposed to give performance, or is the asset allocation supposed to give performance? So I get pain when there is a discrimination. X mutual fund, X balance fund is good not because his fund manager is good, but because his compliance officer is good. This cannot be tolerated. And it can't take 5 years to settle this. So my vested interest, because I am the Kshatriya or Shudra variety or Vaishya variety, I am not the Brahmin variety, but I believe I have all the qualifications to become Brahmin. So I should be given permission. Now let's look at from a customer point of view. Forget my vested interest. There is a study called Dalabar study. It gets conducted in US every year. As per their study, in a developed market like US, where there is far more stringent investor protection laws compared to India, they've realized that the average mutual funds return is half of average fund return. Because they chase past performance, they end up getting into wrong schemes at wrong times and so on and so forth. My feeling is that in India also the experience of investors will not be different. There are so many schemes which have moved NAV from 10 to 100, 10 to 500 and 10 to 1000. How many times you have seen a photo of an investor saying that yes, this guy wrote from 10 to 1000. Even employees of that mutual fund are not in that scheme. So clearly by creating multiple schemes, we have confused investors. All the close-ended schemes of every mutual fund company in this country has underperformed their open-ended scheme. And supposedly open-ended schemes get flows and close-ended don't, so they are supposed to outperform. Why is that happening?
Nimesh has already taken his mic.
So I will stop here because I can go on and on, but I'll stop.
We should not stop. We should not stop. Only thing.
And only thing, this is the only topic where Nimesh and Nilesh has a difference of opinion. In everything else, we are together.
No, I don't have. I had a very smart investment guy some 5 years back who got me all the approvals. So Nilesh should also get one of them. So then Discovery got created, Dynamic got created. So all that got created, I had a very smart investment guy. So now this one. I've got a very data Nilesh says something else, at least of our mutual fund says something else. There is a whole purpose behind close-ended funds. And in fact, I am now taking all the media who had written bad things about my close-ended funds when I had launched it. The customer has had a brilliant experience in my close-ended funds. And now I'm going head on. When it is coming from renewal, 92% of my close-ended funds are getting renewed in the next 3 years. If the customer didn't have a good experience, and by data also suggests, there is a specific purpose of a close-ended fund. Today I am coming with a close-ended fund when I have got 20 other open-ended funds because I have got a specific view that the market goes from 9,000 to 10,000, 9,500 to 10,500. At every 100 points, I want to create a put option. I want to buy some puts at every 100 points. So I believe that there is a market view that we have got that actually comes out in our close-ended fund very clearly, that we believe that the market will go slightly up, maybe go 1,000 points more up at Nifty level, and maybe then we might see a correction. So I want to play active put. So there are specific purpose for close-ended funds, and we would continue doing that. In fact, that will be my statement. That will say what my view on the market is. But actually the debate was not on close-ended funds. But the debate is on products. And I think every mutual fund, I actually felt it was a joke when I was told that balanced fund should have 50-50. Right? I thought it was a joke that means balance at different level of market the balance will be different. Why it should be the same at, balance at 10,500 will be different than what balance should be at 7,500. So I think product innovation should be there, right? And anyway, because if I were to do a business, I do need lesser number of products. I started with that, and that's what I have not been able to explain, that a good businessman will have only 4 or 6 products in this one. But it is because of the customer that we need more products.
Sure.
Because it is better for the customer by various angles.
Yes, Sunil.
I just want to add here one important thing. I think if you take a slightly larger look at this, right? What SEBI is trying to do is to generalize the industry and put certain frameworks into only these kind of products. But if you look at the bane of the industry, the biggest mis-selling which is happening in our industry is selling on past performance.
Yep.
Right? Now, if SEBI's logical thing is to take into conclusion, right, what will happen? The best balanced fund, I'm just taking balance as an example, will get sold. But is there any guarantee that's going to be the best balanced fund in the coming years? Only by creating differentiated products which are sold on the promise of future performance are you going to ultimately right sell to the customer. If you then have only standardized vanilla products, the one which did best in the past will get lion's share of sales in the future. So like what happens, Brahmins will become super Brahmins and super Brahmins. Because, so I'm saying, SEBI really in his mind should be looking at saying, can I move the industry to selling based on a promise which the customer understands and accepts, so that underperformance is also understood that it was a function of something which didn't go right. Rather than saying last 3 saal se isne 40% written diya hai, next 3 saal it didn't deliver, then the next cycle comes on. So I think SEBI is actually encouraging this whole mis-selling proposition by doing this standardization. Whereas differentiation is what will help an advisor to say, for this customer, this is my view. This fund is supposed to execute that view, so I'm allocating your money in that.
Absolutely.
So I think that was the point.
Great.